We chose Shrek after going through a number of different ideas. One of the things that we've done at YATS is to try to give different examples of what is possible within musical theater. So we've done things that are more classic, we've done more contemporary things. And Shrek is probably the most contemporary thing that we've done, because it was premiered in 2008, and especially after last year when we did Fiddler, which is a very traditional kind of golden age musical, we wanted to do something that would be different in that way, and this is certainly the most different, I think, show that we could have chosen, because it is, along with being a more contemporary piece, it's also based in fantasy, it's based on a film, it's based on a comic book. It's very comedic as opposed to some of the other things that we've done, like Fiddler, that have more of a serious bent to them. As you've seen, the show is kind of weird, because like, for those of you who did Fiddler or Guys and Dolls, there's like big group numbers that are all kind of, this is everybody, and this is everybody. The only thing we have everybody in is that finale, right? But we have Duloc and a number of people in both things, and then Freak Flag, and so there's a lot of crossover, so it's making it very difficult to rehearse.
Let your freak flag fly. Good. Just know that freak flag wave, you're with the sopranos there. That's actually the melody there. Okay? Flag fly. Good. I'm missing tenors. Tenors, yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. You need to lean in. You need to sit into that left knee. She'll help you at home. Great.
And then you stop, and then just take a look, and then you stop them. You're gonna hear them, stop them.
The process, because we've done YATS shows for so many years now, we've kind of codified in a way. So I think most importantly it begins with the auditions and seeing what talent we have, because whenever we choose a show, we're unclear about who exactly is going to be around, because obviously people graduate or they move out of the area. That becomes a big part of what we do. So finding the cast is paramount.
This is our story.
Watch where you're going, Mary Poppins! Stay where you are. I'll be fine. You stay where you are.
Fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect kingdom.
It's not a kingdom because you're not a king.
Oh, but I will be. Just as soon as I find a princess to marry. And I hear you know of one. Tell me where she is!
Eat me!
Oh, great. I got one of the snoozers. Wake up! Are you Princess Fiona?
I am! Awaiting a knight so bold as to rescue.
Once we've put the cast together, which is about in end of May, early June, we meet with the cast to start explaining the show, to listen to the show together, to start to work on some dances or some of the music. And then we give them the summer off to learn lines, and we come back together the very last week of August before school starts for them, where we have kind of an intensive 4 or 5 days at the theater, which is a good time for all of us to kind of get to know each other, to see where things are. And then from there we kind of set into our regular schedule, which is about 3 times a week.
You're looking great! Then I saw her face.
Okay, example, onions. Ogres are like onions.
They stink.
Yeah, no!
They make you cry.
No.
I know. You leave them out in the sun and they get all brown and start sprouting little white hairs.
No! Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. Ogres. We both have layers, you get it?
I'd say the most obvious, but also the most important key moment in the rehearsal process was when we did the first run through of the first act, because before that it was a lot of scene work, a lot of dancing and singing work that was sort of a bit scattered from different parts of the musical. Some Story of My Life and Freak Flag, both big ensemble numbers, but that are completely different and at completely different points in the musical. But when you start putting it all together, I think seeing everyone realise that the work that they've been doing and the puzzle pieces are finally coming together in order to create something that in the end turns out to be really beautiful, sort of, it just makes something click in your brain, and it makes you realise that this is why you wanted to do musical theatre. It's all the little puzzle pieces, all the little lines of dialogue that you thought were maybe throwaway or that didn't contribute to much, or the lines of songs that you just saw as funny, now actually have a bigger impact on the overall story, and by a bigger section from the audience's perspective, it impacts the story as well.
You're going to be like, okay, so you're going to be off stage. So think of these two lines. Okay, go from your
Yeah. She says, drag and we see you, you're already there. While that's going on in terms of rehearsal, we also have a creative team that's working on either costumes and sets from the get-go for the production of Shrek. For the first time, we actually rented quite a few costumes because, again, it's such a unique piece that it would be difficult for us to either create or find these in general costume storage. We have a nice relationship with the TNS here, which allows us to use a lot of their costumes, but I don't think they've ever, made an ogre or a talking donkey costume before, so it was good to be able to find those from a professional company, which is based in the UK. And so the costume team, along with figuring that out, then does go to TNS to see what they have available that we would be able to augment the costumes with. Props are built at the same time, built or created or found around the area, and then we also meet with the set and lighting designers who start to create those parts of the process as well. And finally, it doesn't all come together really until the week before we move into the theater, and that's when we start to add all of these things together. And so when we actually get into the theater about 6 days before we open, it's a very busy time because we're adding all these elements to it, and sound and microphones as well, and the lights and the costumes and the set and the props. And so it becomes this kind of big push at the end to make sure everything is put in place in a way that allows the actors to kind of keep building their characters and augment what they're doing throughout the process. It's coming together. It's really nice. I appreciate that. Appreciate your work and building on what you're doing. I wanted to say that there's some people that I watch like all the time, because whenever I look at them, they're totally engaged in what's going on. So it makes such a big difference. And it's amazing and it doesn't take much more from you guys, but I swear to God, you will have more fun, the audience will have more fun if you are engaged with what you're doing. So I find Kate, I look at you all the time and I'm like, oh my God, that's great, great. Kate.
Are you Lord Farquaad?
Maybe. Does the name strike fear into your heart?
No, but that little hat does.
Oh, let me sing in here.
Look, I'll be out your silky hair just as soon as you give me my swamp back. Who is she talking about?
No way. You don't want to listen to me, right?
Donkey.
Right? No.
All right, look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I guess I am just a big, stupid, ugly ogre. Can you forgive me?
Hey, that's what friends are for, right?
Right. Friends?
Friends.
I feel like I've had a bit of a head start when it comes to playing Shrek, because Shrek's most defining characteristic in the original film is being Scottish and being a bit gruff. And I've already got the Scottish part down, and if you ask some people, I could be considered a bit gruff. So essentially, it was sort of, I sort of enjoyed playing a more theatrical version of myself at times on stage, where it's vamping up the emotional and angry parts of Shrek, but also adding a bit of sadness when it comes to certain scenes. So essentially it's the role that you play sort of becomes an extension of yourself. You really feel as though you are experiencing certain emotions that the character you're playing is experiencing throughout the musical.
Don't forget to change Hi. At that point, young Kuno's curve, that's going to be so this question, but
Bro, you get slow.
Once upon a time, there was a little ogre named Shrek who lived with his parents in a bog by a tree. Now, it was a pretty nasty place, but he was happy because ogres like nasty. On his 7th birthday, the little ogre parents sat him down to talk, just as all ogre parents had for hundreds of years before.
I think what's crucial for everything to go well is the commitment of the cast. And it's one of those things that's difficult to tell when we start, because as I said, we often have a lot of new people, and we have a lot of people who have done shows with us before, and we have kind of a way in which we work, and part of that is kind of preparation. So on their own, in terms of learning lines, learning music on their own, and coming together. And so convincing the people who are new to the process that it really makes a big difference if they are prepared.
Left at Victor Benedetti's mansion. Hey, now what's this? I swamped, that's true. Julok got good.
watch where you're going, Mary Poppins. I'm alright. Stay where you are. I'll be alright. See? That's a lesson to learn right there. Donkeys should look where they're going. But I had to do something to shake off those goons. And guess it worked because...
I hear voices over here.
Help, but don't get which
Well, it's hideous.
Oh, that's not very nice. It's just a donkey. Hey, oh, look at me. Whatever.
Really great.
No! I'm an ogre! You know, grab your torch and pitchforks.
Shrek? Shrek, come back! Shrek! I'm out of here.
I think because of our limited timeline, because we definitely, you know, a major part of our rehearsal is about 6 or 7 weeks in the fall right before we open. So unlike a lot of theaters I know in France who spend, you know, the better part of a year working on a single production, our timeline is very truncated. And so luckily we have the hindsight of knowing that we've been able to do this for a number of years now successfully. And so I say now that I know it'll work, I know it'll come together, but there are moments where you're like, is it really? But it always does, thank goodness. But for us, for this year, as pretty much every year, it really isn't until we get into the theater. I think part of that, along with all the elements that are coming together that we talked about, it's also the time when the actors finally go, oh yeah, we have to do this show in this big theater with all these seats filled. And I think all of those things kind of allow everything to coalesce into one unit at that point.
Princess Fiona!
North, they said. There's a landfill with our names on it. Landfill? Are you kidding me? What's next? A dunghill? A septic tank?
People would recognize a wall when you saw one.
Oh, yes, but it's supposed to go around my hole, not through it.
It is from your house. See, this is your house, and this is my house.
Your house?
Yes, my house. I have rescued the princess. I can have the work, and I can have the booty.
Get back.
No, you back off.
Oh, Oh, this is too precious! A big man! I'm a big tall giant man with a castle! Not a freak! Not a freak! I'm a kingdom!
Stop the wedding!
Fiona?
I wanted to show you before.
Well, that explains a lot.
My story.
Laughing on my jokes, even though they're
rehearsals where we had 4 a week. I mean, it's a lot, but you just come out of it with a show that is completely different to the one that you started in August, simply due to the fact that people have poured their heart and soul into this production, and it just comes out the other end magnificent, as you can tell by the audience's reactions. So they don't know the tears and the sweat that went into making it, all the hard work spent at Jean Sturm or even at Oswald in August, making it through not only the actors, of course, but through everyone backstage, through all the volunteers, through the board of directors, and of course Juliana, Victor and Alicia, just bringing everyone together and honing everyone's energy and passion into something that can be viewed as art.
This is our story. This is our story. This is our story. God bless us, everyone!
Once YATS gets into your heart, it's not leaving.